Alright, so the Summer Games Fest has been running a Sonic Frontiers gameplay demo for the past couple of days, and us as Sonic fans, we obviously want to know what this gameplay demo looks like, what it plays like, things like that. However, the Summer Games Fest and Sega has been keeping the gameplay strictly behind closed doors. We have not been able to see it, and anybody who played the demo was not allowed to talk about it because they unfortunately signed an NDA, which means that they cannot disclose what they saw in this gameplay demo. However, just today, the review embargo has just dropped, which means that anyone who played the demo can finally talk about it and give their full thoughts about the game. And also, we got some new footage that we're going to be going over today. We're going to go over all of this, so if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, and hit that bell for post notifications on if you want to be notified of my future Sonic content. Anyways, with that said, let's jump right into the gameplay. Alright, so first things first, Sonic runs up this little tower over here and pretty much climbs it like how we saw in the previous trailers where Sonic just goes through the rails and springs and pops the balloons to get up there. But there's a certain point when climbing this tower that I really want to highlight. When he's turning around this corner right here, you can see that he's in like this boosting mode and he does a full 90-degree turn. That is really impressive, and that was one of the fears that many people had with this game, is that this game was going to control like Sonic Forces, but as we can see right in front of our eyes, even in the boosting mode, Sonic can make really sharp turns, and that's what I really like to see. That was one of the biggest concerns from so many people, and it's finally being addressed here, which makes me think, wow, the IGN player or whoever was playing in the previous demos was really not that good at the game, or just didn't play it right. Either way, I like how Sonic looks control-wise, and judging from some of the first impressions that some of these reviewers have given to us, they've all said that this game kind of controls pretty well. And I like hearing that because there's been a lot of people worried about how this game might control awfully, or that it might control like Sonic Forces. So finally, everyone's worries can be rest assured because Sonic can turn, boys. He can turn in a 3D space. Let's go. It's been so long, man. It's been since Sonic Lost World, and even in that game he struggled turning. So yeah, we can finally turn, boys. So next, what we get to see is Sonic climbing to the top of this tower, and he actually climbs to the tippy top, which we didn't see in previous trailers, but I think that's kind of nice. Now, there's something that I want to highlight real quick about this tower that I talked about in my first analyzation of Sonic Frontiers gameplay, and it's that climbing this tower may look boring to us right now, but I feel like if we're playing it and we're speedrun climbing these towers, it might actually be a lot more fun than it looks. Because if you look at these towers retrospectively, they look like miniature Sonic levels, kind of like the Sonic Unleashed like side missions where they have very gimmicky level design and whatnot. That looks like what these towers are going for, and what I really hope to see later in the game is some really challenging towers to climb. I want to see spikes put everywhere, maybe some death pits. Man, we just need to get dimps on this game, alright? We need some of these towers to be pretty challenging. I'm in for a Sonic Unleashed itch. I need that itch, you know what I'm saying? Alright, but anyways, I thought that was interesting, and I hope that some of you can see it the way I do, because I think these towers will be pretty fun on release, but that doesn't matter for right now. Let's just move on. Okay, so before we get into Sonic's next fighting sequence, I want to talk about how Sonic is getting through the open world right here, because it looks like there's a lot of automation where he just gets on a rail and he gets flung forward. Again, I kind of like this in a way where you can choose to just run across a map or get on a rail to get by faster. It's kind of like easy transportation, getting Sonic to his objective as fast as possible, and that's what I want from an open world game. I don't want a lot of boring, empty space in this world. I want Sonic to be constantly on the move, going on to the next objective, because that's what I find addicting about a lot of good open world games like Breath of the Wild and whatnot. I do have one critique with this game, and it's that I kind of wish it had a slight bit of momentum. And when I'm talking about momentum, I'm not talking about like Sonic GT where you roll down a hill and you just go flying across the map. No, I mean like Sonic Adventure momentum, where if you're running down a hill, you just naturally get a little bit of speed, you know, stuff like that. Maybe just to make the open world a lot more fun to traverse so that you don't have to take the rails everywhere you go. Maybe if you want to run around the grassy area, I feel like a slight bit of momentum would make it a lot more fun. because if you ever played the Sonic Adventure games, they have a slight bit of momentum, and I feel like those games control extremely well. They are some of the best controlling games I've ever played because manipulating gravity momentum with a spin dash was just amazing, and I'm not saying this game has to bring back the spin dash, although that would be pretty cool. I'm just saying that momentum is nice, and it doesn't hurt your game. It just adds a bit more flair to the control. Anyways, we're gonna move on. Alright, so the next thing we get to see, I found this kind of funny, is that Sonic was running around the open world, and there was this enemy right here, and he just charges towards Sonic, and then he just slaps him into oblivion. The enemy just destroys itself. It is gone. It disappears forever, alright, man? And I don't know what this combat move is. This is certainly a new one. Sonic did something here. It looked like a special move of some sort. Maybe you will be able to fill a bar up from attacking other enemies and will be able to perform a special move. I don't know how this works. I know there is a skill tree, and we'll get into the skill tree later on in the video, but this seems weird, man. How did he do this? I want to know what this is, if it's a special move or if this is just a normal combat move. I'm going to guess that's a special move because normal combat moves do not kill enemies in one hit. I feel like only a special move should kill an enemy in one hit. But we'll have to wait for more trailers to see exactly what that slap was. It was amazing. Anyways, alright, let's move on. Alright, so next we get to see Sonic doing some of the open world platforming where he runs on a rail and then he jumps off, hits a spring, and gets blasted into the sky. Honestly, this level design kind of reminds me of Forces, but it also reminds me of like a cheap version of Bowser's Fury. If you ever played Bowser's Fury, it was an open world Mario game, side content to 3D World, which just scattered level design all around the open world. It looked very odd, but the level design there was very competently made, whereas here, it kind of matches the Sonic formula. I just don't think it looks as high quality as 3D Worlds, but it is what it is. Okay, but before we move on, I wanted to note something, and it's that these trick animations still look really bad. They're all separated, they don't flow together, and it's kind of disappointing when you see Sonic Generations. They were able to do trick animations, and in Sonic Generations, the trick animations flow together perfectly, like they looked really good. But here, it looks all separated, it doesn't flow, it doesn't look good in the slightest. And I know that some people don't like us when we critique the animations, but that's what we gotta do. We need to make sure that Sega knows that we want better animations and better polish in the next game, because if Sonic Frontiers is a good game and people really enjoy it, they're probably not going to drop the open world formula just like that. They're probably going to make another open world Sonic game, whether it's being Sonic Frontiers 2 or whatever else they decide to title it. They're probably still gonna make more open world Sonic games, so I hope in the future they can make a more polished open world game. Now, theoretically, what I hope to see is that Sega will listen to our criticisms of Sonic Frontiers, with that being the animation and the overused assets, and they decide to fix it in the sequel, thus giving us a much better open world Sonic game. Think of it kinda like a similar scenario to Sonic the Hedgehog. The first Sonic the Hedgehog was really good, but Sonic the Hedgehog 2 improved on so much that the first Sonic the Hedgehog did wrong, to the point where the second game was just infinitely better. If Sonic Frontiers releases with these animations and these assets, that's what I hope they do. I hope they really listen to our criticism and make the sequel something that we have never seen before. Which, honestly, judging from that previous interview, the sequel might just be Sonic Adventure 3, which would be absolutely wild. But if you're making Sonic Adventure 3, you gotta put that momentum in there, alright? You can't take momentum out of an adventure game. That is ridiculous, that is stupid. Don't do it, Sega. But, you know what, the Sonic Adventure 3 discussion is a discussion for another day. We need to continue analyzing trailer. Let's move on. Alright, so the next thing we get to see is Sonic beating up this little enemy right here. And I will say, this enemy does not look like a pushover. It still looks really easy, but it doesn't look like it stands still and lets you hit it. It looks like it takes a little bit of skill to kill, which is what I enjoy to see. And hopefully throughout the game, the enemies continue to get harder and harder. But I want to say one thing. to all those people who were hating on Unleashed back in the day, who were saying like, why is Sonic doing combat? He's a platformer. Yeah, I bet you feel real stupid now. Look at this, bro. Look at this combat, bro. It looks good. Now, I'm not going to be stupid to the fact that this combat, while it does look pretty and it does look very satisfying to kill enemies with, I'm not going to deny that some of these enemies might get repetitive. And I really don't want that to be the case, because if we're going to be fighting a lot of these enemies, repetitiveness is the last thing we want, and I really do not like repetitive video games. That is why I do not like Sonic Heroes. So I hope that is not the case here, but considering that we are still finding out new enemies, I don't think it'll be as repetitive as I fear. Maybe when we go on different islands, we'll see even stronger enemies that have different attack patterns and whatnot and require a lot more skill to defeat. At that point, I don't think it's going to be repetitive. It's going to be really hard to become repetitive at that current moment in time. But something that's worthwhile to note is that Iizuka in many interviews has said that you don't have to participate in combat. He said in most situations you can kind of just avoid it or keep running. If you're not much of a combat player in Sonic Frontiers, you can kind of just avoid that mechanic in the game, which I kind of respect, because if this mechanic sucks, I can just ignore it. I can avoid it, whatever. But if it rocks, I can go into it, get some XP or whatever this game gives you when you defeat enemies, and I like that. Now, again, it's hard to tell if a combat system is good or bad until we get our hands on it, because what matters most with a combat system is how it controls. Does it control nicely? Is it satisfying? Are you just spamming A? Who knows? And, you know, button mashy isn't always a bad thing. If you've ever played an arena fighter, some of those are button mashy and they're really fun. So, maybe this combat system is really good. We won't know if this combat system is good until we get our hands on it, so I'm not going to critique this any further. Let's move on. Now, the next thing we get to see is Sonic running into this tower-like enemy. It kind of reminds me of the caterpillar boss fight from Sonic Mania and Mirage Saloon, but I've seen some other comparisons, like how Sam Procrastinates has brought up, where it looks like the Sonic 3 Death Egg boss fight. I can kind of see the comparison there. It's a cool enemy nonetheless. It is very unique. It looks like it takes a lot more beating to kill than the other enemies, so this one is definitely not going to stand there and let you kill it, but we're getting step-ups. There's definitely a lot more enemies than the original 3 that they showed from the combat trailer, which makes me think, wow, they suck at marketing this game, man. They should have given us a really good trailer that showed things like this, but no, they gave us like 2 gameplay, like, footage showcases that were just really bad. But of course, there is the elephant in the room. After Sonic destroys the enemy, there is a robotic voice that talks to Sonic. It's a female voice, and it sounds like they're talking through like an intercom or something. And it kind of makes me think the simulation theory is correct. And we'll get into the simulation theory later on in the video if you guys are curious about that, but I'm confident that's what's happening here. But anyways, let's move on. Alright, so the next segment of this trailer is just basically showing off the puzzles again. Right here we get to see Sonic homing attacking these platforms, which then gives him a chance to jump up to a higher up platform that has a collectible on top. Now, this may look boring, but this is only because the player was doing it very slowly. I have a feeling that when we're getting our hands on it, we're going to be a lot more faster paced at playing this game, thus it won't look as boring and slow as it does right now on the gameplay demo. But yeah, these platforming challenges, they do look a little too simple for my liking. Again, I hate to make this comparison, but I can really see the Bowser's Fury inspiration here, and I feel like Bowser's Fury's level design was a lot more competently made than this. If you guys ever played that game, it is absolutely amazing, the level design. I mean, it's 3D World's level design, so it's obviously gonna be good. But what I hope is happening here is that this is just the beginning island, and that's why the platforming is so simple. I hope that in the other parts of the open world, that the platforming gets a lot more challenging and a lot more hard to make jumps and gives us some interesting gimmicks to mess around with. That's what I really want to see with these platforming challenges, and they're giving us gimmicks here. They're just not doing a lot with these gimmicks. Like, yeah, we can homing attack these platforms upward, but what if we add an entire obstacle course of these platforms to homing attack and whatnot? I think that would be pretty cool, and that's what I hope to see later on in the game. Anyways, the final sequence of events is a puzzle that we've already seen before where Sonic has to use a spin cycle to put out the flames. However, there's one thing I really want to note here, is that he put out 2 flames with 1 spin cycle, which means the spin cycle goes a lot further than we may have thought. Now, I do have a theory about this. What if, on the skill tree, you can upgrade or level up the spin cycle, allowing the spin cycle to have a lot more duration of use? Like, for example, at level 1, the spin cycle may be able to make a really tiny circle that can only kill some enemies, but at level 50, you can make a circle around the entire map. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but leveling up the spin cycle sounds really fun. Also, just gonna say this now, why did they change the name of the spin cycle? It's called Psyloop now, I think? Really? Why? The spin cycle is so much better than Psyloop. It's a way better name. I don't know why they changed the name. Sega, please change the name back if you can. You probably won't, but I don't want to call this thing a Psyloop. That doesn't even sound cool. That sounds weird to say. Psyloop? Psyloop. No. I'd rather say spin cycle. But with that said, that was the gameplay demo footage. Now, I want to look retrospectively at all of this. Now, to get this out of the way, the first impressions from all of the reviewers have been that this game is amazing, that they really like the game. I have seen from some reviewers they said it's a bit unpolished, but unpolished doesn't mean bad. I brought this example up in a previous video. Super Mario Sunshine is a bit unpolished, but I consider that game amazing, so in theory, this game could be unpolished, but could still be an 8 out of 10 game. I will say that the most shocking comment I've seen is somebody saying that this is Game of the Year material, and that it is better than Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Do you know how insane that is? If any of you have played Kirby and the Forgotten Land, you would know that game is absolutely amazing. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is my game of the year right now. I haven't played enough of Elden Ring to tell you if I like Elden Ring more than Kirby, but Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a really good game. It is a astronomically good game, which to me, if Sonic Frontiers is better than Kirby and the Forgotten Land, that is a very, very high bar. Kirby is a great game. If Sonic Frontiers is better than that, oh man, we are in for it, bro. Sonic is about to have a great year if this is better than Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That is a really high bar. I hope it hits it because obviously I'm a Sonic fan first and foremost, but man, better than Kirby, Now, the statement that it's being Game of the Year, I don't know if that would be the case because I feel like the Game Awards just wouldn't give Game of the Year to a Sonic game. Even if this game got a 97% on Metacritic, I don't think it would win Game of the Year because I just don't think they would put a Sonic game up there, you know? I feel like Elden Ring's gonna win Game of the Year because that game just like broke the internet for a solid month straight. If Sonic Frontiers is able to do that, maybe, but in my opinion, if Sonic Frontiers is better than Kirby, it'll be my Game of the Year at the very least, unless Elden Ring is really a masterpiece like how people are saying. I should really get to playing that game. But there is something I really want to discuss here, because the first impressions and the reviewers have oftenly spoken about the story of Sonic Frontiers. They talked about how it had a lack of story and how you are discovering the story as a player with Sonic. The game is very mysterious. You're uncovering the mystery of Sonic Frontiers as you're playing through the game. And I really like that idea. Ian Flynn sounds like he's going to do a bang-up job on Sonic Frontiers. Now, after hearing all the reviewers say that we have to solve the mystery of Sonic Frontiers, and that there's this AI voice talking to us with these weird cybernetic enemies with the cyberspace and all these, like, weird technologies we have never seen before, it makes me think that the simulation theory is correct. Now, I have to preface this. This is all just a theory. A game theory of sorts. None of this that I'm about to talk about is confirmed, but I feel like there's a lot of evidence supporting this, and it also sounds really cool. And if this is the story of Sonic Frontiers, guys, we are in territory of the best Sonic story ever made. So the simulation theory was a theory about Sonic Frontiers' story that was very popularized on Twitter. And I don't remember the exact source of this theory, but I know it's really good. So the theory is that the main plot of Sonic Frontiers is that Dr. Eggman trapped Sonic in a simulation, and the whole idea and main goal of Sonic Frontiers is trying to break out of Dr. Eggman's simulation. I can only imagine how crazy this story is going to get, because if this really is a simulation, Eggman can kinda manipulate this world, and maybe he's using it to try and kill Sonic or take his powers or whatever, I don't know, but being trapped in a simulation trying to break out sounds really cool. And if we are not aware that's a simulation and we get to the end of the game and it's revealed that's a simulation, that will be one of the best plot twists I have ever seen from a video game. Like, imagine if you were getting to the end of the game and you're fighting the final boss, and throughout the entire playthrough you were believing that this was actually Sonic's world and that we had to put a stop to this new technology. But in reality, at the end, after you beat the final boss, it's revealed that Sonic was always in a simulation, and he breaks out and he has to go stop Eggman outside of the simulation. It completely changes the environment of the game. That would be crazy. And honestly, I think there's a lot of potential with making a story based around a simulation. Like, imagine the replay value, being able to replay Sonic Frontiers, knowing that we're in a simulation. You could pick up on, like, subtle hints and foreshadowing of the end of the game that we may have not picked up on the first playthrough. Like, there's so many directions they can take with this kind of story that I hope it's not a theory and that's actually true. Again, it's just a game theory, but I hope it's true, man. That sounds like such a good story, and I know Ian Flynn could kill it because he did a pretty good job with the IDW comics. Please tell me that is the case. But you know what? I'm going to level out my expectations because I need to expect the least from this game, so that when it releases and it's really good, that I feel really hyped for Sonic, and I feel like a happy Sonic fan again, because, you know, we haven't had a good Sonic game in quite some time. And judging from the new footage that we've gotten from this gameplay demo and all of the interviews with the reviewers, I still do not have a lot of faith in Sonic Frontiers, and I'm still very skeptical of Sonic Frontiers, but I'm a lot more hopeful than I was a day or two ago, because I was really not feeling good with what I was seeing of this game, but after today, I'm feeling a lot more hopeful. Obviously, I can't get rid of the skepticism, but I'm feeling a lot better about this game than I was. And if the reviewers are right about this game actually being good and quote-unquote Game of the Year material better than Kirby and the Forgotten Land, then, man, we are in for a really good game, and that's what I hope to see. I want to see a really good 3D Sonic game because I like modern Sonic more than classic Sonic. I may like more classic Sonic games than 3D games, but I like the character of 3D modern Sonic more than classic Sonic, and I like the ambition that 3D modern Sonic has when compared to classic Sonic. But unfortunately, 3D modern Sonic isn't hitting anything recently, and I hope Sonic Frontiers is a massive hit for 3D modern Sonic. And there's something that we can learn from good video games, and it's that 1, Sonic will have a much better reputation, and 2, Sonic Frontiers will be very successful if it is a good video game, because good video games sell a lot better than bad video games because people actively want to go buy it. And also, I see how the general public treats Sonic, and all I see is a lot of potential being left out on the table. I am telling you, if Sonic Frontiers is a good video game, it will see success beyond any of our imaginations, because Sonic is massive. Ever since the 31st of May, Sonic Frontiers has been trending every day on Twitter, having discussions about whether it's bad or good. It's been quite annoying, but at the same time, it's kind of cool to see how big Sonic is. And that's the thing, there are so many people talking about Sonic and enjoying Sonic that want Sonic Frontiers to be good. This game has a ton of eyeballs. Everyone is watching Sonic Frontiers to see if this game is going to be good or bad. And it's very important that this game is good because this game will see a lot of success. I've seen it with Sonic Colors Ultimate where everyone was talking about that game for an entire summer, but upon release, since the game was bad, everyone stopped talking about it. When was the last time you've had a conversation about Sonic Colors Ultimate? It must have been like a year ago, bro. That game died so fast, and that's the thing. Sonic Frontiers has the same situation as Sonic Colors Ultimate where everyone is talking about it. If this game is bad, this game will die within a month. And that is not the fate I want to see with Sonic Frontiers. I want to see this game live on because this game should be good after all of these years. And that's why I hope to see. I am skeptical, but I'm also very hopeful. So with that said, I love you guys. If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, hit that bell for post notifications on. Anyways, I love you guys. Adios. My channel members are Boysco, Orion Pax, Snicks, Ethan K78, Johnny on Rings, Epic Gaming with George, SonicMan715, Storm, Archer XYZ, Sonic Hub, Thomas One Ride, Chip Chip Chop, Scape, Sonic Pip, The Squeaker Nerd, Super Shacks Boom, Sonic Extreme, and Super Saiyan Sonic. Thank you all for supporting the channel. You guys went out your way to help me. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to be changing this outro very soon. It's going to be a lot more fast paced. I feel like it's taking up too much time in this video. But yeah, anyways, I hope to get back to regular content. Can't wait for Sonic Origins. Anyways, with that said, love you guys. Adios.